Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk about Beyond the Gates Season 2, Episode 91. No, 92. My bad, y'all. Before we begin, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you'll know whenever I post. All right, so we start the episode off with Naomi. She is at Ashley's house, and she's comforting her because, well, we actually start the episode off with Ashley looking at a photo of her and Derek. Naomi comes out the bathroom. She's starting to comfort her. Ashley is still crying about it. She doesn't know. She doesn't know why it feels like she lost the love of her life in Derek since they weren't together. And girl, I'm with you too. Naomi tells her, she can grieve however she wants. They talk about all the double dates that they used to go on. Ashley doesn't know how they ended the way they ended, and Naomi gives her a pep talk. Ashley has a flashback of the last time that she spoke to Derek, and she was just like, that last conversation, it felt like he knew what was going to happen, and we, the audience, also knew what was going to happen with that last conversation, but whatever. So she cries some more, and Ashley and Naomi, she's there for her. She talks about the work that he was doing at the clinic and how, he finally found he finally found his purpose after him losing his job with the firefighters. Then, she talks about the first time they moved in together and how they got into a stupid argument. And now she's second guessing everything. Naomi tells her, think of all the good times, but Ashley can't. She's too upset and she's too pissed about how they ended. And Naomi is telling her, don't rewrite history or whatever, and she tells her, go take a hot shower, X, Y, and Z. So she goes and leaves. Ashley goes to take a shower and Naomi calls Jan. We heard Vanessa talking to Jan earlier, telling her, if you need the time off, go ahead and do it. But Jan was just like, she wants to keep herself busy or whatever. So Jan shows up. Ashley tells Naomi, Jan shows up. Ashley's happy about it. She tells Naomi to take her own advice, so she leaves. Jan and Ashley, they cry to each other. They talk about Derek, and Ashley gets emotional, and she starts blaming herself for Derek's passing. And then she hears a knock at the door, and it's Grayson. So we see Jacob. He is at the police station, and I'm guessing this is all the next day. So Jacob is at the police station. He is taking Grayson's statement, and Grayson is going to be anonymous. So he's telling everything that happened, and he gets to keep his job. They talk about what happens next, and him saying he only worked for Leah. And then Ren comes in and he's talking hot-ish, saying, Jacob better be careful, and he gonna be out eating wagyu before you know it. Grayson is wondering, like, is that true? Oh yeah, because Ren was just like, I still got a trick up my sleeve. I know who the impaler is, and that's who y'all want. So I'm gonna be out before you know it. Grayson is just like, is that true? Is he and Leah gonna get away with it? And how Leah threatened Ashley and all this other stuff, and him and his mom. And Jacob tells him, if she can give up more details on the impaler, then she could get a reduced sentence. And my thing is, sir, you didn't give up any information. You were the first one to cooperate, but you didn't give up any information. The only info that you could give up was Leah, because you don't know anything, and you are getting immunity. How can you eat, and you get to keep your job? How can you fix your lips to say something about Leah when you ain't giving up ish? Please have several seats. So he leaves, and that's when he goes to see Ashley or whatever. So we see Leah. She's at the hospital. She's chained to the bed. Malone comes in and he tries to get her to talk, but she ain't trying to say nothing. Um uh Oh yeah, he tries to get her to talk. He tells her, you could have came to me and all this other stuff, and she tells him what happened. Um he's trying to, throw her a lifeline, but she ain't telling him nothing. So she says, I'm not gonna speak without my lawyer. He leaves. Shanice comes in to check her vitals. She tries to explain things to Shanice, but Shanice ain't having it. And she tells her she made good money and she shouldn't have taken her anger out on innocent people. And Leah tries to tell Shanice what it was, and Shanice is just like, we're gonna rebuild without you. And she tells her, you set off a chain of events. They got her friend taken out and she can rot in hell. So she leaves. Jacob comes to visit her and tells her that, he can cut her a deal if she tells him who the impaler is, but Leah doesn't know who the impaler is and she won't be able to identify him. So this was the last that we get to see of Leah, and it sucks because I started to like her in the end, but this was the last that we get to see of Eva. I mean, of Leah. So we see Donnell. He's meeting Vanessa at the club. She was talking to Jan about Derek and telling her if she need anything. So they discuss the plasma ring, and he doesn't believe her when she tells him that she doesn't know anything about it. She tries to take up for Joey, and Donnell isn't having it. And Vanessa thinks that Deanna is getting to him, but not Donnell isn't letting up on it, and he's just like, I'm not letting Deanna get to me, I'm just seeing what I see or whatever. And yeah, she tells him don't let Deanna don't let Deanna poison you against Joey, and he's just like, man, whatever. So we see Elon. He comes and he visits Joey at the casino. He puts him on notice about what happened and telling him he doesn't trust that he wasn't involved, especially since Randy was there the night before. Joey is adamant that he don't know anything about it. He doesn't have an alibi. He tells him if Elon tells him if he finds out that he had anything to do with, he gonna throw the book at him, and he leaves. So then we see Marcel come in, and he's talking to Joey, and he's telling him he don't understand how he missed the signs and he couldn't get Leah to talk, and he's not in his prime anymore, and he thinks it's time for him to retire. Joey is just like, yeah, no, it's not, because I still need you for some stuff. And I'm just like, ugh, punk. So we see Joey, he's on the phone with Randy, and he's telling him to lay low, and then he needs to get word to the impaler to fall back or whatever. So Donnell comes in, and he isn't up for his BS anymore. He wants, and maybe, and comes in on 10, tells him, I'm not here for your BS anymore, and maybe Deanna was right about you all along. So we see Tomas and Bill. They're talking about the plasma ring and about Jacob being undercover and them thinking that everything is over. Bill then talks about Leah's portion of it and how she may need a good lawyer. Kat is outside at the door and she hears this, so she walks in and she tells him, "I hope you're not planning on being the lawyer." So then they talk about Lynette and Leah and how Lynette may have run off because she found out what Leah was doing or whatever. And Kat says that she can find out more info. She's gonna see if she can get some info from Jacob. But Bill tells her to stay out of it. So we see Naomi. She comes to visit Bill, and he comforts her about Derek. And then she's saying, I just want to work and I don't want to think about it. And he says, cool, I'm here for you or whatever. So we see Kat and Tomas. They're at the club and they're, at dinner or whatever. And they're talking about Lynette and Leah as Vanessa is at the up there, and she overhears them. And Kat says, she's going to ask Jacob to ask Leah if she had Lynette taken out because she found out who she was or whatever. So yeah, so that was the episode. It wasn't a lot that happened this episode. We're about to get into we're this week, the next week that I'm about to start talking about is the Derek's going home. So those episodes won't be long for me, at least. um, and yeah, so that was this episode. Not a lot happened. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you'll know whenever I post. Get down in the comments, tell me what you guys thought of this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one.